Hey yo, what is up FPG fam? Further here and welcome back to another Ether Gazer video. So I finally have completed my Thoth, at least as much as I can currently. I have some mid-maxing I still need to do, but I thought this would be a good time to showcase what I have currently on her in terms of stats, sigils, warps, all of that good stuff, as well as do a brief breakdown and a first impressions. So I do hope you enjoyed today's video. I do hope you get some value from it, and if you want to emulate my build, you certainly can. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on Thoth. So let's go ahead and talk about that first. My first impressions on this modifier is that she's incredible. She hits incredibly hard. She's fun to play. She has a pretty good ease of use. You can spam her skills. She's just overall a fantastic modifier for beginners, veterans. Doesn't really matter, right? I think she is for everyone. So all in all, I think she's a 10 out of 10 in terms of her gameplay, damage, but she's also a 10 out of 10 in terms of her character design. I think this modifier looks incredible. All the outfits look incredible on her. I do like her original outfit. I think it looks great, but if we were to go to her other one that you can get, I think this one looks fantastic as well, especially with the scene that you can use with it. But if I'm gonna get this, I'm not entirely too sure. I'm kind of debating. I know she has another outfit and I think I like that one much better, so I might just be saving. We'll see. But once again, character design 10 out of 10, gameplay 10 out of 10. She's fantastic, right? She has the range, she teleports, all that good stuff. Anyways, let's go ahead and showcase my stats on her. So really quickly, I need to go ahead and address this. Double S, you see her, right? How did that happen? Well, it happened because I did that video that you seen prior in terms of talking about who you should choose with your S rank selector and your polls and the scans. Right after that video, I did a YOLO multi, I kid you not, with the purple tickets, and I got a second Thoth. So it wasn't from the spending event. I got incredibly lucky with a YOLO multi, got a second Thoth, so I have her double S here. So I'm incredibly happy about that. Now, I will say the gameplay that you're seeing is with her at just base S rank. There is one gameplay that I do have her at double S rank. So either way, she is great at base. Let me just go ahead and say that just one copy of Thoth is all you need. I don't think you need to get more copies of her. So just keep that in mind. But I did get lucky. I got double S. So that is, you know, it's good. Now moving on to her stats, I have her level 90. Got that up right away. As you can see, attack a little over 7,000, crit rate 43%, crit damage 56%, and then you see the rest of the stats there. Normal attack at 20%. Still trying to min-max it a little bit more. Now for the skills, they're all maxed out. I do have the ability to go ahead and bring them further, but I need more of the skill points, and I ran out of stamina because I'm currently building Sekhmet as well. I just exhausted all my stamina. My stamina is gone. It's depleted. It has been Thanos snapped, unfortunately. But you know what it is. When you're trying to build up one modifier, you run out of resources very quickly. And then when you're trying to build up two or more, forget about it. It's gone. Now, in terms of her gameplay, as far as a quick breakdown on her, I'm not going to go too in depth. But essentially, you'll be spamming her normal attack. She is ranged, so you have that comfortability. But you'll be spamming her normal attacks. Now, what's great about Thoth is that you can do her normal attacks, and then you can do a skill, and then you can pick right back up where you left off on the normal attack. So, for example, if you got to your second or third sequence of the normal attack, and then you do a skill, you'll pick up on the fourth sequence of the basic attack or normal attack, if that makes sense, which is really nice because then that leads you to be able to go to your follow-up skills, because once you complete your normal attack sequence, your skill 1 and skill 2 will change to their derivative form or their other form, and then you would be able to use that other form. So that makes Thoth very nice to play. And then skill 1 is the one that I usually spam the most, or at least I try to the most often, because it does the most damage. And then really what you're trying to do is get those invisible thread. If you're using the red aether code, you want, I believe it's called invisible thread, right? I'm gonna go to the red aether code right now. Invisible string, excuse me. Invisible strings, you're trying to get as many of those as possible, so that way you're doing the max damage, crit damage, all that good stuff, right? So essentially you're gonna do, you know, 2 skill 1s into your skill 3, and then your sequence, your normal attack. That's where you'll teleport behind the enemy or next to the enemy, and then that's where you'll get the invisible strings, and you're just going to kind of repeat that process until you can go into your second form. go into your second form and then just spam your attacks and your skills as much as possible, right? So she is fantastic in terms of being able to spam skills because they are up all the time. You always have the skill itself and then the other form of the skill, and you're doing those consistently. You're teleporting all over the place. You're able to lock the enemies down with that pyramid that you drop down when you're in your second form. So she is, she just kind of really has it all. Her dodge, you're able to use the invisible string to be able to dodge and then teleport as well. And then you have the ultimate skill chain with Sekhmet, and this is the reason why Sekhmet is also such a good partner, not only because of what Sekhmet is able to bring to the table with her skills as well as with her Sig Functor, but then you put on top of that the ultimate skill chain, so you're going to deal physical damage, and skill chain use grants all team members potential unleashed for 12 seconds, as well as restores to all team members HP equal to attack. So what's really good about Sekhmet is that you do have all the buffing capabilities, but you also have healing, so you don't have to worry about dying, which is really nice. And then hits landed on the enemy increases the skill damage of all team members by 20% for 12 seconds. We just went over how that's all you're doing with Thoth, is pretty much spamming her skills. So this is very nice. Also deals physical damage, and then skill chain use increases all attribute damage dealt by all team members by 15% for 15 seconds. So with this ultimate skill chain, as you can see, it's not specific to physical types. It's not really tied to any niche. It's just all team members are going to be receiving these buffs. So the ultimate skill chain is nice to have with Sekhmet, and that's something that I would recommend. So then you can throw on the back end, like the third team member could be Ling Wang, it could be Hera, and then we could look into the future for, I believe it's Artemis, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be really nice overall. You could also slot Athena into this team if you want to, just because of it being physical, of her being physical, not it, of her being physical. That'll work out to a degree. So a lot of good stuff right here. But just to really quickly go over, the skill 1 is what's going to allow you to gain some distance. Skill 2 is going to bring you closer. And then skill 2 and skill 3 have a slow on it, which is fine. I don't really find the slow to be something that is super necessary to have, but it is nice in general. I just don't find enemies flying around too often. There's a very select few where you would want the slow on maybe, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal. I really like the skill 1 just because the amount of damage that you're going to be able to do with it. It's just more than skill 2 and skill 3, but you're spamming all the skills essentially, and then you're spamming your normal attacks. You're trying to get those invisible strings, and then once you go into your second form, that's what you're trying to do, is quickly get into your second form so you're doing even more damage. And then you can also drop that pyramid down that locks everything in place, so the control is really nice there. Alright, we're going to go ahead and move on to the access key. Now I do have the Sig Functor. Now I have her double S, so it's going to be +2, and I threw a Transcendent in there as well. I figured, why not, right? Let's go ahead and do it. But essentially, the Sig Functor is going to be nice for it. Increases independent damage by that amount, increases base damage of skills 1, 2, and 3 by that amount. Once again, that is what you're doing with Thoth. You are spamming skills, so that is really nice to have. And then automatically restores 1 energy point every 0.5 seconds, restores 42 energy upon exit from Weaver state. Now, this is really nice because the energy is what you need to be able to go into Weaver state. I just call it her second form just to make it simpler. And then use of the Dance on Edge or Silver Drop when not in Weaver state replaces Dance on Edge and Silver Drop with Spin on Edge and Shadow Cut respectively, as well as resets the cooldown. Essentially, it allows you to go to those other forms of the skills, and you're going to be able to do that back and forth, as well as when you go into your second form, doing that back and forth. So it's just a quality of life thing. It makes using Thoth a little bit better in terms of you're able to do your skill 1, then do the second form of the skill 1, same with skill 2, and you're able to do that pretty fluidly back and forth with the Sig Functor, on top of getting all the damage enhancements and things of that nature. So the Sig Functor is really nice. Is it 100% necessary? I don't think it's necessary to have. I think Thoth will perform well without it, just using the general Sig Functor on her 5-star one. But it is nice to have, I'm not going to lie. It is really nice to have. Do you have to chase it? No, you could get it down the road. But if you want to make Thoth your main DPS, your hardest hitter, then yeah, I would recommend going for it. Now, moving over to the sigils, as you can see, I have them all 60, all reconstructed here. In terms of the skills, I have her at 8, 6, and 7. And then you can see some other little things right there. We got a couple loop backs in there. but I do want to mid-max it a little bit more. I'm trying to shoot for that 8, 8, and 8 for Thoth, but it is very difficult, as all of you know. Now we're using the Ruler of Heavens for the range damage, and then the Crescent Moons, which is her specific one that came in this new update, increases physical damage, grants the new moons. It's a lot going on there, but it is going to be tailor-made for her, so you're definitely going to want to farm that up, which you can in the new event, and then go ahead and put it on her, reconstruct it, all that good stuff in there. Now moving over to the warps, I'm still kind of messing around with this build right here, but I am liking it. I'm not gonna lie. I went out with the power up range for the range damage, the EM flux. Now for me personally, I did go ultimate equation, and that's just because with Sekhmet, we're popping that ult pretty frequently, getting it a couple of times in a match, so that 90% is kind of spicy, so trying to do as much damage as we possibly can with the skill chain. We went with Telepathize 1, I did go with Executioner, and then I did do the Armor Break, because she does have Armor Break or Piercing in, I believe it's her Aether code, which we're going to go ahead and discuss now. If I'm not mistaken, it is in here somewhere, right? Yeah, here we go. So with the second one, it crit damage by 4.5% and Armor Pierce by 3%. That's why I went with the Armor Break one, and the effect stacks up to 7 times. I am going red Aether code, 1 because I have the Sig Functor, and then 2, I think it is going to be the best in terms of doing damage. Once again, we are playing around with the invisible strings. You want to get those as much as possible, and when you use the invisible string, you're going to get 1 thread edge, and then each stack of it is going to give you that crit damage and going to give you that armor pierce, and then it's going to give you massive damage. So tap the normal attack button within 3 seconds of expending 2 marks to unleash the stitch, to also unleash invisible string. Also increases independent damage by 50% when the stack count of thread edge is at 7. So once you have 7, you're getting that massive 50%. Now in the gameplay that you're seeing or have been seeing, I need to get better at using Thoth in terms of really maximizing her damage output. What you're seeing right now is pretty much me using her for the first couple of times. I'm just trying to get a feel for how she plays and how I can best optimize her skills and best optimize getting these invisible strings to get the thread edge. So just take it easy on me when it comes to the gameplay. I'm going to get better as I use her more often because I'm going to be using her all the time. And then the first one, I didn't go over. Tap the normal attack button within 3 seconds of triggering extremity dodge with dance on edge or spin on edge to also unleash invisible string. Increases non-dot skill damage of hits landed with invisible string by 10%. So essentially you can get the invisible string by doing the extremity dodge with dance on edge or spin on edge to also unleash invisible string, so skill 1 or skill 2. After you do that, that's where you essentially teleport behind or next to the enemy, and that's where you get those invisible strings, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm understanding that correctly. So you're going to want to be, dodging to get the extremity dodge, doing your skill 1s and your skill 2s as much as possible, which is something you're going to be once again doing all the time. And then the chips, I don't think it's important, the chips right there. So that is my Thoth as a whole overall, where I have her at currently. Once again, now we're at the point of mid-maxing her. So she is performing beautifully. We're doing some crazy damage numbers, but I do want to go ahead and mid-max her. Once again, get these fully maxed out as much as possible once I get all my stamina back. Probably throw maybe some more transcendence in here, mid-max the skills here. Warps I might play around with, try different ones, but yeah, that's my Thoth pretty much complete. At the time now, I am trying to get my Sekhmet where she needs to be. She is usable at this point, got her skills built up. I got her at level 80. I was thinking about taking her to 90, still debating that. I do have her Sig Functor, which is great. And then the Sigils, you can see this is where I left off. I'm trying to get her Sigils reconstructed, leveled up, but once again, the resources are gone. They are depleted. Here are the warps, and then I do have her on the yellow code. So Sekhmet with Thoth is an amazing pairing, and I've been really enjoying this team. But anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let me know if there's anything you want me to go a little more in depth about when it comes to Thoth, or just team building in general, because that's another video I can do. Different teams I can go with Thoth that I think are pretty spicy, that you may not see that often. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name's Cody, you call me further. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.